Into your Wednesday afternoon with northeast winds still on the breezy side, gusting up around 30 miles per hour, highs in the upper 50s. Tonight, that wind will settle down. We'll have mostly clear skies, lows in the mid-30s. On Thursday, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-50s and pretty much a carbon copy heading into your Friday. That's KCJJ weather. It's 53 at our studios.
And it's Wednesday. It's the noon hour. That means it is time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by Senior Benefits, and, of course, by the Solon American Legion. And now here is formerly Tammy Rowe, of course, or Tammy Rao, I should say. A man who's watched a lot of baseball over the last few days. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Amen to that. Wow, Tommy, what a deal that is or was. I'll tell you, folks. Thanks for tuning in today here on Senior Talk. A little update as a longtime Dodger fan. I did stay up and watch all 18 innings the other night, and I think I saw 215 or 220, and they finally won on the home run at the end, so that was great. But, man, am I paying for it ever since. I fell asleep last night during a regular 9-inning game, which we have beat, so it's 2-2. Exactly what you want the World Series to be, right down to the wire. We shall see. So, yeah, I was there with the best or worst of them, and I'll tell you, folks, they couldn't have beat either team for the last half of that game. Couldn't beat their way out of a paper bag. He knew somebody was going to win, of course, but that's what it is. So, yeah. Old Rex stayed up, and what a dumb head he was for that. Well, listen, what a beautiful day here in Iowa City and Johnson County. Absolutely gorgeous out there. The sun is out. I call this a nice, brisk, chippy fall day. Great day to get out and go for a walk. Great day to get out and do something maybe around the yard. The winds might be blowing a little bit, but so what? It's Iowa. It's times of change in the weather. Get out and enjoy it. We all know what the next chapter is. Well, for sure, it's a great day to be here and a great day to be a senior right here on Senior Talk. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy day, and to those listening who are seniors and senior gonna-bees. People who are going to be seniors and need to pay attention to a lot of things we talk about, absolutely for sure. I'll do my best every week to bring some things that might be important to you or might be important to someone in your family or your friends. You might pick up on something that you hadn't considered, or, boy, there's Rex. He's kind of politely trying to kick our butt to do this or do that. And that's all this is designed to be. I can dispense only professional real estate advice because I am a licensed Iowa real estate broker. The rest of it is just food for thought and things you could think about. If we talk about investments or insurance or Medicare, Medicaid, all those types of things, family things, those are just from my heart and from my opinions, and do my very best to get you to think about, maybe take some action on whatever is good for you. So why don't you pull up a chair, grab a sandwich and a nice cold root beer. Let's see what we can cook up. My name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm a 76-year-old real estate broker, and I absolutely love to meet and work with seniors. And when I say seniors, I mean my opinion of a senior is 60 years old and older. That's a senior in my book, and that's who I prefer to work with. Sometimes if the people in the 30s call me, in these days I work with them, but I do refer them to other agents in our office, and I keep my in the background because they need the latest and the greatest marketing, and that's what we offer at my office. So that's the scoop. I work with seniors, the seniors themselves. Sometimes I meet them at their house. Sometimes I meet them at a coffee shop. Sometimes at my office. I work sometimes with the seniors and their families. Sometimes the family members are my age, in the mid-70s or 60s. We're all trying to help mom and dad or mom, whatever the case may be. And for you, if you'd like to talk about it, by the way, I get calls from attorneys. I get calls from executors of estates, administrators of estates. I get calls from trust departments of banks to help them with the real estate matters. So feel free to call me on my senior line, which is right here in Iowa City area, 319-330-5534. 330-5534. Let's see what we can put together here. I've got some good news and some news that I don't want to talk about it one time a year, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about it today. Now, the good news is this. They have officially said that the Social Security rate will go up 2.8%. So it's called COLA, cost of living adjustment. So they're going to give anyone receiving Social Security benefits, you're going to get a 2.8% increase. So on $1,000, you're going to get $28. If you're getting $2,000, you'll get $56. If If you're getting $3,000 a month, to be $170, $168, something like that. If you're getting $4,000 a month, it'll be more than that, 4 times the money. All right. That's great because it's in our favor. But a couple things. It's not keeping up with inflation. We know that although inflation is way, way down from what it was a few years ago, what actually, to reflect this, we got an 8.5% raise about 3 or 4 years ago. Now that was worth it. That was good. But now it's 2.8, which is right about what they expected it to be. But here's the bad part. I know you're sitting on your seats waiting for this because everybody always says it. As soon as I say, well, it's going to go up 2.8, but then they say, but how about Part B? Well, Part B is going to go from $185 to $206.50. So you're right. It's going to go up, what's that, 15 and 6, $21.50. So if you were going to get, I'm picking a $40 raise on the 2.8%, $21 is going to come off, so you're going to get a $19 raise. So I don't want you heading downtown to the tavern yet to drink up. I don't want you heading down to River, so we can go there anytime you want, LaCour. But you're not going to be that much. But it is in our favor. And every time they raise it, which is in our favor, and the next time they give it a percentage, well, your percentage of increase goes up. So that's the good news. Now, here's the bad news, in my opinion. My opinion only. I only talk about this once a year because I can't stand it. And that's because this Sunday we have to set our clocks backwards to daylight time, which means what? It means daylight is gone. It's like 22 hours of darkness here in Iowa City area. I can't stand going back to that, which means it'll be light in the morning. Oh, boy, this is great. But when you get off work, if you work by the time school is out, it's halfway dark. And you know what's going on. The old sun is heading south until December 21 when it comes to its senses and turns around. So that's the story that I get. It starts at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So set your alarm clocks to get up and set your clocks backwards 1 hour. Fall back. So, yeah, make sure. I always have my wife do that. You need to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and set the clocks back. And all I don't even get a look anymore. I get nothing. Because there's 2 chances you would ever do that. The slim chance and, of course, no chance. It's no slim chance at our house. It's no chance. That's my job then, to run all the clock, you know. So that's the story. So enjoy Saturday. Nice big log, hopefully shiny, sunshiny day between then and now. And then Sunday, kaboom. It's going to be dark at 4:30. We'll halfway. Now, one of my highlights, of course, is this. I highly suggest you do a couple things knowing that. Number one, it's 3 things for sure. It's fall. That's a definite time fall. You should check the batteries in your smoke alarm, and you should be changing your furnace filters. Absolutely. 2 things to do. And I always load my cars. I got a couple cars. Wife's got one. I've got one. I make sure I have a couple flashlights in there. It's going to be that dark, and you're going to stop and do this or do that or go here or go up to the front door of this or drop something off. It's pretty darn handy to reach down in that little compartment in the middle or downstairs and have a nice little flashlight. And flashlights are scientifically called a storage case for dead batteries. Don't let that be the case. Get them charged up if that's what you do, or get some batteries and enjoy it. For sure, do that. All right. And then it was gone. October, that is. This Friday is October 31st, which is Halloween. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, it was an absolute riot. My buddies and I out in Coralville, in the old part of town, where there was no new part of town back then. What a great time it was as a kid. You know, we had school parties and costume parties in the gym, trick or treat outings with my friends and I, and all in good fun. We actually had specific routes with houses that handed out cool stuff on top of the regular list, of course. Now, cool stuff to us was the popcorn ball. One lady handed out glazed donuts. I think she got them at Barbara's, so we beat it over there. And then there was a guy in Coralville. His first name was Clarence, and if you're from Coralville, you can finish the rest. He handed out nickels, and then one year he handed out quarters. And we thought we died and went to heaven one year. We thought he had a nickel and got back, it was a quarter. And good for him. That really kind of got going. So anyhow, trick or treat was a great fun to have. Now, there's some people who always complain. They look out there and a van pulls up and a whole bunch of kids get out. You know, those kids might be from the country where there's not many houses to trick or treat, so they come to town. Those kids like to have fun and get a piece of candy or whatever you give them to. So I always welcome all of them. I don't care who they are, where they're from. We do that. We don't get many at our house because where we live in an adult senior area. But more power to these kids who do that. So be safe out there. You know, it's I just remember back all the fun times we have, and sometimes it would be cold. I mean, it would just be freezing cold, and we'd get all dressed up, and my mom would say, "Now put a coat on." We said, "Well, we can't put a coat on. Nobody will know we're a dragon, or nobody will know we're a policeman, or whatever we were, you know." Well, you have to have a coat, or you're not going out. So that would ruin the fun. But Mom was looking out for us kids. Of course, we would always say, "It's not that cold. You know, it'd be 27 degrees. It's not that bad out." Well, it's supposed to be pretty nice this week. So have at it. Maybe with you and your grandkids. Go to it. All right. Good for you guys. Well, there's no Iowa home game, football game this weekend. No, they're not playing it. They've had a week off, and they need it. So this is a great time to do, I think, what I call a senior one-day road trip. Go ride the train across the Kate Shelley Bridge over in Boone, or go to the Mississippi River Museum up in Dubuque. Go to the Wild Bill Museum down in the Quad Cities. That's right down the other end of Interstate 80. And then go north of 2-3 miles to LeClaire. There's 2 or 3 museums to go to right there. You could go to the Old Car Museum in Coralville if you haven't been there. How about to the Johnson County Historical Society Museum in Coralville? Those 2 museums are you go in the same door, pay one price, you get to see 2 museums. That's the value of the century right there. It's a great weekend to go do a senior road trip. And while you're doing that, some things I like to do just to confuse myself is I like to go to a grocery store in a different town. Make a difference what you buy. Just buy something, not ice cream because you got to drive home. But a different grocery store to get different. Next time you open up, you've got Blue Cow milk. You don't know where it's from, but that's just kind of fun. Little things make me happy when I'm a senior and out doing things. A nice little road trip. These little towns, these small towns, they have some great restaurants and some great diners. And the best pork sandwich in Iowa is from downtown Grinnell on Main Street, right down there. Where you go. So get out there this weekend and do some damage on so to speak, on the mileage on the car and take a drive around. All right. Well, how about these things? A senior lady advises me this. I'm going to enjoy my collection of collectibles, including dishwares, table services, collectibles, this and that, until I'm 80. Then for sale on an online auction. I'm going to let someone else enjoy all those things as I have since I started collecting and going all around flea markets and I call them antique stores. I call them junk stores and stuff like that. For all, she says, since I was in college age. So she's in until I'm 80, and I think that's going to be just she's almost 76, like 4 years from now. She's going to enjoy everything she's collected. She's not buying anymore, but she's just going to enjoy it, meaning sitting there and looking at and having the comfort that it's in her house and all those years. Probably a story behind each piece of glassware, plates, or dishes, whatever it might be. A story behind each one, where they bought it and blah, how they traded for it, blah, blah, blah. That's the fun story. Well, this lady says she's almost to 76, so she said 4 more years. I said, wow, that's a neat deal. I like that. She says, of course, we know there's no promise that I'll be here for 4 years. I said, well, that was what I was going to mention. And I said, I have a hot idea for her. She says, well, what, Rex? What is that? I said, why not do this? Why not at least consider this? I don't care what you do, but why not consider this? Move that up to age 79. So when you're 79, you've got all things taken care of, and you can sell all that stuff between when you're 79 and 80. So the day you turn 80, all that stuff's gone. You can enjoy whatever the fruits of your labors were. Maybe it's money, or just the fact that you don't have the stuff anymore. You put a little bit of money in your pocket, or you put some money in your pocket and you went down and bought something now that means more to you than all that kind of stuff. So I said, step it up a year. By the time you turn 80, you can sit in your chair and go, I got rid of all that stuff and I've got a little money in my pocket. Aha! She says, that's not a bad idea. She says, I think I'll work on that plan. So that's her new plan. She did call me back. She says, I'm going to get rid of it when I'm 79 during that year, and by the day I'm 80, I'm not going to have one thing to worry about, not getting rid of anything, worry about somebody coming to get it. It'll all be taken care of. Good for her. I hope you have a plan with your stuff. If you're a senior and you're past 80, you must really, really be in love with it. So be it. That's your deal. But if you also have it because you don't know what to do with it, there are people who will buy it. Call me. I'll give you some names of people who market those things and might come to your house and set up an online auction. The beauty of an online auction is that they put it online, just what it says. You get bids. There's minimum bids. You don't go over this or can't go under that, blah, blah, blah. and then the people come to your house and pick it up with the auctioneer there. Of course, they have to get a time to come, so you know when they're going to be there. And then they take it home. You get money for the item, and it's people drive from Dubuque or I don't know who knows DeWitt to pick up the items that's all online. All you did was open the front door. It's paid for up front, and then you pay the. I think that's a wonderful thing. That lady is gonna bite into my step up plan there on her plan. I like that. Well, a senior couple says this: we think our son needs financial help. I just read that 50% of the seniors are still helping their adult children with finances. Half of you helping your adult kids with finances. I don't have any kids, so I can't help you with that. But as I might have talked last week, do as you wish. You're certainly funny, but do not encroach on your ability to retire or live the way you'd really like to. Because you've got to go look in that mirror and see who you see, and that's number one. That's number one. The person, the lady, or the guy you see in the mirror. All right, that's number one. Now, if you ruffle up your own retirement plans, that's your thing, and not my take. But I just wonder how Johnny would do or Janie would do if they didn't get that and they had to go help themselves a little bit more. Only you can decide that. I'm not here to say don't do it. I'm just here to say only you can decide that. Please don't let it interfere with your personal retirement plan, all right? I was thinking about, before you might offer financial help, sit down and talk to them about it. And I'm going to pick a number out, $250 a month here. What are you doing with it? Well, I'm supposed to be buying groceries with it, but you're here, and lo and behold, you see they've got new tattoos or something. That just cracks me up. I don't care if you get a tattoo. Some people you see that don't have any money, but they have tattoos. They spent money on those things, for God's sake. Boy, I'm on one today, aren't I? Sorry about that, folks. Maybe you guys are doing this or just happy as clams and not don't care if you're helping them or not. And maybe your kids are happy as clams because you're helping them, and everybody's happy. Well, more power to you. That sounds good to me. But maybe they really don't need the help, and maybe you should sit down and interview them. How's that sound? All right. Well, a senior lady says this: my parents are both deceased. And I said, I'm so sorry. So am I. It's not fun. You lose your mom, you lose your dad. Now they're both gone, and those are the people who we used to ask for advice. Those are the people that sometimes you didn't have to ask. They offered it. They crammed their advice down our throat. That's what parents do. So, well, we want to go outside. No, it's raining, you little twerps. What's wrong with you? Well, because we're kids, you need to tell us a good thing. It's cold, put a coat on. All right, well, we're kids. We hadn't realized that too much. We were just going to go outside and play without a coat and take them off anyhow. So pretty soon in life you notice this. You're chugging along, doing just fine. Now, pretty soon you want to make an investment. Maybe you want to get a different car. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you want to get all new carpet in your house. Maybe you want to paint. Maybe you want to get new siding. And what do you do? Who the first people you as senior go to? All of a sudden, you go to your kids. Maybe they're there for Thanksgiving. You say, Mom and I'm thinking about maybe some new siding. What do you guys think of that? Well, what's it going to cost, Dad? Are you going to stay with the light blue, or are you going to go to a different color? I think it's a good idea. Those are the type of things. She says, this lady goes on to say, I own their house and all their belongings, and I have for the past 5 years. So her parents have both been gone. The latest one to die was 5 years ago. She now owns their house and all the belongings that they had. I keep the house looking good inside and out. I can't seem to want to part with the house or the belongings. It's like they are still still watching and would be mad and disappointed in me. Wow, I can't not address that. This lady has issues, moral issues, personal thought issues that she's not allowed to sell or shouldn't sell. It'd be a burden upon her if her mom and dad are overlooking her shoulder, even though they're deceased, if she would sell the house, if she would sell everything in it. Wow, that is a personal burden. And I said, thinking that her parents were overlooking her moves, this and that actually happens quite often. And the 5 years is actually a long time, but it does happen. I've read many, many cases on these things, and it happens a lot. You can't throw this away. You can't part with that because that's Dad's. Oh, Dad got that. I'm almost in the same boat. My grandpa gave me a really, really nice, which I still have, what is it? It's a rifle, 22 pump gun rifle with octa barrel, and made in 1922. It's a Winchester, and it's the nicest little rifle you've ever seen in your life. It shoots what's called a Winchester rimfire round, which is about 1.5 inches long, hard to find. I used to use it for squirrel hunting, and it's highly inaccurate. Maybe it was me, I don't know. And I haven't sold that because my grandpa gave it to me. So I'm fitting right in the same thing here. And I can sell that at a gun show. In fact, there's a gun show down at 4-H grounds Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I just saw. So old Rex will be down there probably Friday afternoon. I'll take a couple hours to go down to the gun show. And I know I could sell that any day I like, but what would I do with the money? I don't particularly need that for something like that. So I keep it. But so maybe somebody would like to have it. I'll test the waters down there and see if anybody's looking for one. How's that? All right. She said, I just don't know what to do. And I told her, I said, you know what I would do? What? I said, I think you should go see a counselor. And I said, maybe that's the minister of your church. You don't have to pay. Maybe that's a counselor. Maybe that's your attorney. Maybe that's the word counselor can be stretched to mean a confidant. Maybe you go see a couple of your friends from church and say, can we talk about something? Maybe a couple of your card ladies or a couple of ladies or another couple you hobnob with and different things. So I'd like to ask a question. What's that, Marge? Well, you know, I own Mom and Dad's house and all those things over there, and we mow the grass and pay the taxes, and we don't even rent it. By the way, folks, this lady doesn't even rent it. We don't even rent it. It's just kind of a museum for my mom and dad's stuff because I can't bring myself to sell it. And my observation is inside the people will just die, sit back in a chair and roll their eyes. But it's Marge who's having the problem here, and she needs to talk to somebody. So if that becomes something at your house, you're in that situation. Maybe it's a car your dad gave you, and I have a cousin whose dad gave him a boat and motor. He's probably listening. And I know he'd want to get a new one, but his dad gave him a complete setup, so that's one he uses. So it is what it is, not that he doesn't want to spend the money. In this case, this lady, I know she would. I could tell, but she doesn't want to own the house anymore. I could tell that. So she's going to have to deal with it, her inner feelings somehow, and talking to somebody is probably the right answer. So that she gets more opinions. Whether or not it would change her mind, I don't know. Maybe she's going to hold on to him forever and ever and ever. Don't know, don't care. But I do care. And so I just kind of gave her some ideas on I think she should have a talk with somebody. A non-senior brother and sister called me, and we talked about their parents and their parents' lack of attention to any details on the will, wishes for future care, financial arrangements, any of that stuff. We have no idea if they have a will or anything. We have no idea if they have any sustaining insurance, any sustaining money, if there's a mortgage on the house. We don't know beans. They won't say anything, nothing. They are in their mid-80s. And then the lady says something, then they both say something will happen, and then what? Well, let me ask you folks listening today, is this you? Do you fit that mode, or is it your senior parents that you're having an issue with, but they won't respond? Or is it you, and your kids are trying to get you to talk a little bit? What side of this fence are you on? I don't know, and that's up to you. I'm not going to seek you out. But you're going to be on one side or the other, and I think you know the side I think you should be on. I think you should sit these are non-senior brother and sister, so they're adults. I do know that. Sit them down and say, here's what Mom and I are done. There's two of you, in this case, two of you, and here's what the plan we have laid out. Here's the plan we have laid out. And by the way, here's where we're at on this thing. We've got the Social Security income, and we've got that rental for our little duplex, and we've got Dad's retirement program. We've got Mom's Social Security, blah, blah, blah. And just you don't have to give them anything. It's just information, free information. Now, they may go back home and say, boy, they don't have enough that I did. They don't have as much as I thought, or they got 25 times more than I thought. Oh, boy, someday. Okay? It's not what that discussion is all about. That discussion is all about finding out status. So at somewhere down the road, in the end, if one of them goes first, which will more than likely happen, you could be right there and not having to ask them all these questions about things under times of duress. Oh boy, Uncle, my dad died in a car accident today. After the funeral, what does Mom do? Mom doesn't have a clue half the time, or the other way around. Mom kept all the books. Dad doesn't have a clue. That's the deal in my house. My wife keeps all the books. She gets run over by a truck this afternoon. You won't get paid by me for a while because I don't even know where the checkbook is. That's the way we divided up the division of labor. I know where we have a bank account. In fact, I was in the bank the other day and said, well, we don't see you very often. And I said, yeah, that's true. I go there for real estate things. So you need to kind of sit back and say, we really need to. We really not only should, we need to. We need to sort of sit down and have a confidential talk with our adult kids. Or maybe it's your grandson who's your overseer type of thing, whatever it may be. Level with them. I guarantee you will feel better if you did. I guarantee you this, if you don't have a will and you go get a will and advance directives on health care, you will sleep better and feel better and act better. I guarantee you that if you don't do that, and in the back of your mind your will is maybe not outdated, but maybe you might have the wrong heirs on there, the wrong lost payee, things like that. It's bothering you, and if that's bothering you, it's so easy to get it fixed. Oh, for sure. Give me a call on my senior line. Just call Rex, 330-5534. I can help you with some ideas, that's for sure. All right. I said on these folks, I see if they could advise on any profession. See if you could give them some advice on any professional they should use, and try to pick up on any things any updates they may offer. Show your concern to the benefit of their welfare, and I mean that from my heart. Show your concern to the benefit of their mom or dad's welfare. Good luck, and good luck to you. It's not good what's under the present condition. That is for sure. Well, here's this thing. Our son, his wife, and 3 kids, the kids are all about junior high kids, live in a big city. And my son and his wife are asking us this. They are asking Grandma and Grandpa, my wife and I, to invite the kids to a 2 to 3 week summer in Iowa vacation next summer. They want them to experience things in life that he experienced, but not them. And the lady said, you know what we did? And I said, no. I said, we accepted on the spot. We plan to be with them at Christmas and give them some sort of a big gift that is an invitation to Iowa. So she said, guess what? What fun! She said, we didn't roll our eyes and go, oh, no, what do we do with 3 grandkids for a couple of weeks? We just sat right straight up in our chairs and said, we're in. So now we're going over things that we think they could enjoy. Now we're going to be working with their mom and dad, in other words, these folks' son and daughter-in-law, as to some things maybe the kids have mentioned they'd like to see or learn about and do. They're going to have 2 weeks' time. Trust me, folks, in 2 weeks it goes so fast you make your head swim. You're going to blow a bunch of money. You're going to have a bunch of things. You're going to go places that you don't have any business going to, but the kids wanted to see this or that as long as they're in Iowa. I don't know what that would be. Go down a gravel road. Go to a fish in a farm pond. Things like that. So anyhow, this Grandma and Grandpa are all over this thing. And she said it's not so much of a whirlwind to the state of Iowa, but living day to day with the fun things thrown in. Well, that's what they want to do. You know what these kids really want? And all in all, truth be known, they want to spend 2 weeks with Grandma and Grandpa. They probably don't care if they get an ice cream cone tonight or tomorrow night. They want to be around the Grandma and Grandpa and maybe go down to the store with them or go down to, go down to the store or go to a restaurant with them or go shopping with them just to be around them. And then Grandma says, with a few fun things thrown in, wow, you kids ever been to this or that? Oh, no. Ever been to a small town? They're going to have the Watermelon Festival here this weekend in the Muscatine or Conesville. Would you like to go? Well, what is it? Well, we're going to go find out. That's what kids need to see in here. Now, there's junior high kids, so they may roll their eyes. Oh, God, we get stuck with these things. But if you can make fun out of it, fun with it, not fun out of it, fun with it, then they too will have fun. So Grandma says, we're having more fun than ever planning. And she can't wait. We wonder if they've ever been swimming in an outdoor pool, ridden a bike to school, or walked to a store. And she said, we don't know. We said, they live in a big city, so chances are good that they haven't. That's what we're kind of banking on. So she said, we're going to be in touch with their parents between then and now, for sure. And we're going to make the big surprise at Christmas time. We're going to wrap up a big piece of paper that we're going to put together and says, congratulations, you're all coming to Grandma and Grandpa's in the summer of 2026. During this time period, we'll work on that. And away they go. They're going to have a good time. And they are, by the way, right here in Johnson County. Well, that sounds like fun to me. I think that'd be kind of right. Sounds like good old summertime. Well, I read in the paper the other day that a Midwest One Bank group here in town in Iowa City, and they're kind of all over eastern Iowa in different places, that they have been acquired by a financial group out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now, I'm not the largest customer at this bank, but my family was over the years for sure. And so I got thinking about that. They're getting I don't like the word taken over, assimilated, partnered up with a group out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, which will, double their deposits, double how many banks they have, blah, 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 things like that. But I got thinking about the Iowa State Bank building. Now, Midwest One is the new derivative of Iowa State Bank, of course, and I got thinking about that because that building is pretty darn stately downtown. It was built in 1912. And 1912 in Iowa City was big time. The Hotel Jefferson was built in 1912. The Paul Helen building right to the east was built in 1912, where the Blackhawk Mini Park there and what I used to call the Ford Hopkins building, that was built in 1912. 1912 was a big boom year in Iowa City. And this was the Iowa State Bank building, I'm calling it, was built in 1912, and the contractor was from Madison, Wisconsin, and he also built Schaefer Hall over on the campus and he built that in 1898. So some people had some memories of him and probably worked with him. Maybe that's how they got the bid. I don't know. The Engler Theater was built in 1913, so you can see that a lot was going on downtown. And this building would have been almost a skyscraper. Hotel Jefferson and the Iowa State Bank would have been a big deal. The building has housed a bank since it was built in 1912 and also has provided office space for many businesses and professional people. Upstairs in the bank, in that building, if you've never been up there, take an elevator up. There are offices up there. Might be an insurance man up there or an insurance lady or a doctor or dentist. When I was a kid, my dentist was up there. Accounting firms and things like that. And in the 50s and early 60s, they had a lady who ran the elevator, and you get in the elevator, and they pulled back kind of a zigzaggy cage, I called it, and then third floor, please. And we'd be kids. What we wanted to do is we wanted to go down there up on the fifth floor. It's old time stuff inside. It's really cool. We wanted to go up and then use the bathroom because we were traipsing around downtown Iowa City. And then we'd take the staircase down, run down, see how many steps we could go down, run down on it once, and beat the elevator type of, just kids. Ended up at J.C. Penney's or Kresge's around the corner. All right. So there's been a bank there since 1912. And so it's been a bank roughly, I'm picking something out here, wow, to 1912 to 2012. That's 110 years, 120 years. Yeah. Before that, it was a three-story structure, and it was well-built, brick building, and things like that. So when they decided to build it, they had to take one down. The first bank on this corner was established by Cook, Sargent, and Downey of Davenport, who also had other banks like in Omaha. And the exact date of the opening can't be the original bank on that corner, but in the 1850s. So there's actually been a bank on that corner of some sort since the 1850s. 1950. And that's 150 plus, that's 175 years. Wow. And then one Christmas morning, just before 1859, the announcement was made that the bank had closed its doors and temporarily suspended operations. That was in 1859. Wow. Well, the railroad got to Iowa City in what was that, 1855, so Iowa City was a hop-and-going place. And now a bank closed. Wow. After the closing of the Cook, Sargent, and Downey Bank, a second bank was soon established. Culbertson and Reno was located in the building where the Western Union was located for many years. And the Western Union was across the street where Bremer's used to be. The building has been in the Reno family from that date until most recent. Now, Reno, how do you know the name of Reno in Iowa City? North end of town, Goosetown, the Reno family lived up there. They had several acres of land up there. That's where the Reno family was, okay? And then their building was purchased by the Hayek family, and of course the Hayeks, Hayek, longtime attorney family here in Iowa City, for sure. Interesting stuff in the history of Iowa City, matter of downtown. The Johnson County Savings Bank, which is what the precursor of Iowa State Bank, was organized in 1872 with a capital stock of $125,000. At the organizational meeting of stockholders, Thomas C. Carson, a prominent businessman, was the chairman. Now, Thomas C. Carson, he lived on the corner on the northwest corner of that would be what? That'd be East Washington and Dodge. His house is still there. So $125,000. I might have been able to buy a bank at that time. Trustees were, get this. Here's the list of trustees. Samuel J. Kirkwood, former governor of Iowa and owner of the grist mill at the Corville Dam. Theo Sanxay, Sanxay. His home is still at 109 Market. Thomas C. Carson, of course. And he also had a house at 906. I like writing these down. Had a house at 906 East College. Ezekiel Clark. Ezekiel Clark was brought out here to Iowa City by the Iowa Territory again. Robert Lucas. He brought Ezekiel Clark out from Ohio, and Ezekiel Clark helped capitalize with the Iowa City Manufacturing Company with Chauncey Swan and John Ronalds, and they built the dam out in Corville in 1842. Interesting. Moses Bloom, who operated the Iowa alcohol plant, and and C.D. Close. His mansion is the Close Mansion. Is still in that big, huge, beautiful building at Gilbert and Bowery. Interesting stuff, huh? Interesting. Kirkwood was president, 1882 to 87, president of the bank. Tom Carson, 1877 until his death in 1905. Boy, all those people were just early pioneers in Iowa City. Deposits in 1912, when it was built, was $2,026,000. So they went from $125,000 to $2 million. Wow. It's the Iowa State Bank. The Iowa State Bank and Trust Company was incorporated in 1934. Why would they have waited until 1934? Well, because the Depression was going on. Wow, man. Ben Somerville. There you go. Pretty neat stuff. Now they're going to get taken over by, we'll say, merge. How that's a term, merge with this group. I don't know if they're going to change the name. I think they are going to change the name. But the board of directors stay. They get so many seats on the board, and all in the name of better serving their customers. And that's what we look at it. And we welcome this for our community, and we hope they have a good run at it. And they've got some beautiful facilities right here in Iowa City, in Corville area, and in North Liberty even. And we'll see how it goes with them, and good luck to them for sure. I think that downtown Iowa City, the morphing of Iowa City is so important and so interesting to read a lot about it, and I'll bring more and more to you if you like that. Downtown Iowa City, and a lot of you don't go there because it's full of students and full of goofy stores, but that's what makes a Big Ten city, I guess. And we go there once in a while. If you find a place to park is the big hassle, but of course. But let's see what we can cook up. I'll bring you some more on downtown Iowa City. Well, in the meantime, I'm offering you the opportunity of no home football game this weekend. So a great time to get out and get around and go for a little road trip, do some things, get that furnace filter checked, go get yourself a new flashlight, get ready for the darkness, the pending doom and darkness. Enjoy Halloween. Make sure the neighbor kids get a bunch of stuff, and trust yourself in being a senior. Trust yourself. If you can't trust yourself, sit down with your family. If you can't do that, give me a call, and I'll find somebody maybe to help you. And I'm Rex Brandstatter, and I'm at 319-330-5534. And my personal hand salute to all of those who have served our country, all those who are serving as we speak, all the veterans groups and organizations around this town and around the country. Thank you so much for your service. We can depend on you for our freedom. So thank you very much for listening. And as always, go Dodgers. We'll see you next time. So long.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare